Good morning. It's Thursday, the 27th of May, back in the Read Nook on what is a bright and sunny day with a nice hot cup of tea. And a parcel to unbox. Now, I've already been into this one, it's already open, but I've got one more thing to look at in here. And that should give you a clue as to what's in here from previous videos. So, what we've got in here is I've already looked at One Page Dungeon, and basically a guide to geomorphs, and of course I've already looked at the previous issue of this, which is Black Pudding number 6, which I believe is the last issue for the moment. And this is a fanzine by James V. West, and it is known for his idiosyncratic art style, slightly gonzo, a little bit cheesecake, sort of chainmail bikini, cartoon barbarians, that sort of thing. Essentially, this is compatible with most clunky old adventure games or revised versions such as Labyrinth Lord or Old School Essentials. And it's essentially all of its content is slightly tongue-in-cheek, but can be added to your game with relatively ease. Here we go, just open up and we have another character sheet. He does like redesigning his character sheet, so you will almost get a new character sheet in every issue. You're kind of going, which one works, which is the best, and that one is nice and plain and simple. That's quite clean and tidy. Previously he did one based upon the demon, which is being pillaged, as seen on the front of the player's handbook for advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and it's fantastic, but it is kind of a little bit difficult to use. I would have thought it's a little bit fussy, but this is nice and clear and simple. So we have essentially a new character class, the Fat Lady character class. Now, this isn't being sizist, okay? Particularly, it is taken from the saying, it's over when the fat lady sings. Okay, basically opera, sort of like an opera reference. So you have the female character again, kind of chainmail bikini, but sort of more Valkyrie than fat lady. So if you're thinking, the Ride of the Valkyrie and Bugs Bunny and being sung to Boonhilda, you're on the right territory. So here we go, there's the fat lady, and it's when the fat lady sings, and singing for strength. So special abilities: sing for strength, next round plus 1d4 strength, and then it increases. Essentially, it lasts a round. Sing for your life. Your song can heal 1 hit point of damage per turn. Sing using the death. You can sing an ear-splitting note, which basically becomes like magic missile at higher levels. And sing for songs. Your performance grant you +1 reaction rolls. Then we go on to meat shields of the bleeding ox. This is a regular feature, and it's a collection of NPCs which you can drop into your game, essentially as hirelings or replacement characters or antagonists and so on, and they're nicely illustrated, basically little stat blocks with their equipment and so on, and an indication of how much they expect to be paid per day. I have to say, being paid 62 gold per day is quite a lot, but these are 3rd and 5th level magic users in particular. And essentially what we've got is 8 8 characters across the sort of like the 3 pages, so there we go. Nice illustrations, not slightly cartoony, but it kind of works. You get plenty of character and feel for them just from the sort of like the thumbnail portraits and so on. Previous issues, he's probably put too much in, I have to be honest, too many of them. It's kind of like they've become to feel like filler. And then we get on to Adventures in the North, on the North Road, and this follows on from Adventures in the North, continued from last issue. Now, so here we go. I like the idea. It's basically there's content sort of like continuing over from one issue to the next, okay, like this, because it begins to build a sort of like sense of identity. It makes the reader want to go out and buy the next issue. Of course, at the same time, it's beginning to build a bit of a world, and that's what sort of like. That's what I'm kind of looking for in a fanzine, more or less. I'm looking for something, and it's something that I can drop into a setting and run. Then we have Trent the Troll's Roadhouse with a nice little map there, out in the ice, in the frozen north. We get into the domain of the Snow Witches. And we've had sort of like appearance of the Snow Witches in the previous issue before we get on to a monstrous toad, and that's true. Again, that's a fantastic sort of like piece of artwork. Of you're faced by this monstrous toad. You do not want to be faced by that, even just from the artwork, let alone looking at the stats. Another character class, the Demodin, essentially a wee demon person. And you can create candle flames at will. You're immune to fire. Your touch spoils holy water, and you radiate heat, melting ice and snow in 10-foot radius. You can cast Burning Hands once per day, and any fire spell from scrolls. At level 5, you gain Fireball once per day. You are as hot as hell. Okay, so it's the sort of character class you probably wouldn't normally expect, but it's sort of like in a kind of gonzo game. Go with it. We have curious NPC approaches and a curious NPC approaches to the party. This is another table set of just sort of like NPCs that approach the party, and you build again a counter from that. Nice and simple, straightforward. And then underground down below, we have an adventure by, let's have a look. The name is given earlier. Evelyn Moreau, and it's essentially the map's by Evelyn Moreau, and then you've got the basically it's an old school map crawl adventure for player character levels 3 to 6 or so. There we go, and again, brilliant. You can just drop that into your underworld of your choice. It works nicely. If the map's a bit cramped and a little bit difficult to read, I would suggest. I mean, it's busy. It's good, but it's busy, and so that makes it a little harder to read. But you turn over the page, and automatically what you begin to see, just basically see there, and then over the page, is that parts of the map are pulled out and used to illustrate particular locations which you have short descriptions of, like there. And that's a nice approach. It means that you as the GM can work your way back and forth from the main map to the little maps and encounters, and throw those out your players as they wander around the the region. So yeah, you've got basically a hex crawl, also a sandbox for them to explore, and then we have more monsters, Iggy the Husker and the Night Stalker. Before we go on to the Beast Friend, another character class. Your affinity with wild creatures is supernatural. They are your friends, your family. So there we go. And you actually have a beast companion you can call upon. And then encounters with a trolling we will go. Encounters with a troll under a bridge. Again, classic kind of setup. That's where bridge trolls should be, of course. And then unfinished pudding, half-formed and untested house rules you should totally adopt. Okay, it's basically almost like thrown a little bit thrown together there at the end. Up to your GM, see if he wants to run them, and then armor class hack as negative. Again, rules for more armor class, and then okay, so there we go. And then with yet another character sheet. This one is an open more. Fantastic look at. Again, not quite sure that it's entirely practical. And on the back we've got the sort of the campaign notes for the sheet itself. So that's Black Pudding number 6. It's available from Square Hex. All of the issues are really kind of idiosyncratic. They're all written by one and drawn by James C. West. So you know they are his vision of play. And essentially, if you have a setting and you mix and match all the content, you have kind of like a slightly tongue-in-cheek, fairly kind of gonzo style of play with lots of different abilities and different classes. But yeah, so that's the latest issue. I will probably get to review this later in the year. I've got the 5th issue to do next in my ongoing fanzine focus strand. So in the meantime, if you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook, please do click the like button. If you've got any comments or feedback, I do take the time to read those and respond. I do appreciate you taking the time to watch the video and add a comment. And of course, if you want to be alerted to more unboxings in the Nook, please do subscribe. Okay, and then you'll get basically alerted as to the next instance of me being out here with a nice hot cup of tea, a box and a book of some kind, and me chatting away for 10 minutes or so. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.